Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Iowa Math Chat. This is episode 7, where we are going to talk about the high school focus document. And I have it preloaded behind, so we're going to go back to that Achieve the Core page where we have the focus documents for all of the grade bands. And if you scroll down here to the bottom, you'll see we have this document that's called Widely Applicable Prerequisite High School. And I've already downloaded and opened up that document for us. And you can also see it if you go to the view file. However, sometimes you have to open it twice to get it to view. So just download it and it opens up really nicely. And you'll see that this document is claiming that it's the content from the standards that are widely applicable as prerequisites for a whole range of college major, post-secondary programs, and careers. So as you look at this, you'll notice that this is structured differently, and it is not in the same way that the K-8 documents were for the focus documents. And that's because the high school standards are just basically dumped in high school. They're just in a big pile, and it's really up to teachers to decide based off of what their student needs are, where are they going to focus their instructional time. So remember again that focus is about where am I going to spend my instructional time, and depending on what my formative assessment in the classroom says, that it could even vary from class to class as a high school teacher if you have multiple sections of the same course thing. So you'll see here that it goes from left to right, and that is because we know that the better number sense and quantity understanding that students have, then the higher their algebra skills will go, because then they're not getting stuck on the numbers, and then they're able to understand more sophisticated functions. And then that really leads into higher geometry and statistics that really gets into a lot of different applied fields post-secondary. So if we look here, you'll see that it's mostly the domain of numbers and quantity, algebra and functions, geometry and statistics. Now, this isn't saying that this is all I'm going to teach in high school. Again, using that 85-15% weighting of our instructional time, it could take up to 85% of your instructional time to make sure that all of your students have an understanding of this. So you'll notice that not everything is listed in geometry. There's certain standards or clusters where all students need that, right? And same with the statistics. So again, this is about that 85% rule for all of our students to have an understanding of what's on this page here. It might take up to 85% of our instructional time. And so you would leave 15% for those other standards. And it's just, it could take that long. And so one of the things is, if I'm a geometry teacher and I have a student that is, or I have a class who maybe is struggling with their algebra, then I might take more instructional time during some of that algebra instruction that comes as prerequisite skills for them to be able to do the geometry, like with parallelograms. And so again, it's about making sure that the standards are in a checklist. They don't all get the same attention. They don't all get the same instructional time. They're not all the same size. So we can't just count them up and say, well, there's 165 of them. I'm going to divide my 3 years by X number of days, and every standard's getting 2.3 days or something. So it's not about that. You'll also notice that over here on the right-hand side, that it says applying key takeaways from grades 6 through 8. This is where we're going to apply that problem solving, those higher cognitive lift things like communicating reasoning and data analysis and modeling. So since that's a higher cognitive lift to do those things like problem solving and communicating reasoning, then I, by a high school, should be able to do it on middle school content. It's probably not feasible for all of your students to learn a new skill or procedure and then be able to apply problem solving to that in high school, at the high school level. But they should be able to do it at the middle school content level, and you can see what that looks like here. So again, remember, it's not about saying which standards are more important than others. It's about focusing that instructional time to allow all of the students to have what they need for post-secondary success, and that highly depends on their numbers and algebra and functions. So this document kind of is that permission to maybe take a little time from some of that other instructional time to say, we need to put it over here. I hope this is helpful, and you'll join us for another math chat. Thanks, everyone.